Hi there, my name is Andrew McElrath. I'm a certified Biofield tuner, and I was called to offer a session on tuning the heart. Our heart is fundamental for our existence. It emits a significant electromagnetic field that connects with everything and everyone around us, and it requires a very specific balance. And based on the experiences that many of us have had the past few years, we noticed a great deal of distortion in the coherence and capacity of our hearts to function, not only on a physical and physiological level, but also on an emotional and etheric level. If this was a session that would be one-on-one, there are some contraindications that are important to become aware of. If you are pregnant, you have a pacemaker, generally of an older version, and are dealing with any significant disease, chronic illness, on an advanced stage, this session is not for you. Additionally, if you have a concussion in the past 3 to 6 months, you are considered medically obese, and have any other issues that are preventing your full health and wellness in being available to you at this moment, I'm going to ask that you not listen to this out of abundance of caution. If you're driving heavy machinery or you're driving, please wait till you're done with that activity to listen to this session. I'm doing so, conducting this as if everyone who is ever going to listen to it is included, so you can listen to this after the fact, years after the fact, and you're included right here in the here and now. If you're familiar with Biofield Tuning, you understand how this works. If you're not, we're basically working with the electromagnetic signal of intentions, and I'll be meeting this information in a format of 4 directions to kind of work with the different aspects. Before we jump into that intention, we're going to open or ground your Earth star so that the negative polarity, that's the battery of your body, is able to fully ground, and then also open up your sun star so that there'll be a full stream of light moving through your body. Some folks are real sensitive, they'll notice sensations in their body. Some folks not so much. In general, it's advised to receive this in a still space, so you could lie down if you'd like to, or just sort of be in a very still space. You're hearing a lot of activity. I'm choosing to do this outside on the patio where I'm staying, so you might hear some ambient noise, so I apologize for that, but hopefully that space that I'm in will be able to invite the natural vibrations of our outside world to become more inside. So I'm going to invite you to get really comfortable. You might want to have some water ready. You might want to take a sip of water now. If you're lying down, you might want to have a blanket because your temperature may change. So I'm going to use this beautiful piece of rose quartz as a placeholder for our intention today. And this is working with not only our individual hearts, but also the collective space where that connects. So at this moment, with your intention and my intention, I'm going to place the individual and collective heart and hearts. So here we are. And the very first thing is we're going to anchor in everyone's Earth star, because we're going to be working with the electromagnetic system of the heart and the body, and we want to make sure that all of that is nice and grounded and coherent. Okay? So let's just see what's going on here. So I'm noticing a sort of a retraction. It's so funny when I talk about the heart a little bit, I can feel sort of a pulling back or a protection response showing up, and that's okay. I'm just going to invite everyone to take a nice big deep breath and almost imagine that you're inhaling light and letting that move in your body and into your heart. And what drops in at this time It's the 1st of July 2023, and what I'm immediately feeling is in some regions that folks are listening to this, they're navigating really poor air quality. So that invitation to breathe feels a little congested. So I'm going to invite you to imagine or physically put yourself in a space where your air is pure and where it's safe to breathe. That you're safe to breathe. All right, this is all kinds of wonky right here. So I'm just going to go right to a 528 in a crystal, and let's clear the air that you're in and your ability to receive and metabolize oxygen. And folks, anywhere that you need to take space to be able to breathe or make space, let's invite you all and invite that capacity and possibility. And as you exhale, you want to imagine that you're doing so out of the base of your spine and the bottom of your feet. Just letting that all drop in. There you go. Anywhere where there's debris or congestion in your space or in your body, let's make some space for that to move. Invite some conscious awareness into your breath. Just going to invite everyone to notice that as you become more coherent in your breathing, in your awareness, that also has a ripple effect on everyone and everything around you. So we're just going to slowly move this down. Let everyone to feel safe in their body. Anywhere that you're feeling caught up in your head, just to allow that to drop down in your heart. We all are doing great. As I'm dropping this in, I'm just noticing that on some level we can all gauge our balance. We get really still. Sometimes that means we need more water. Sometimes that means we're retaining water. So some of you might need a drink or might need to go to the restroom, and all that's good. I'm going to continue to work while you do your thing. And you're right on time. Aww. No rushing. And I'm just noticing as this comes in and drops in that there's a space to trust that timing is on our side, is on your side, and that there's a perfect rhythm of just about everything. And if we can feel into the rhythm, then we have some great dance moves. It's almost like we can anticipate the flow of things coming. So let's make some space for that to show up for you. Great. And I'm just going to say this, let's just make some space to trust the timing of things. In those moments where you realize, oh wow, that needed to happen right then, right now, right in that way. There's no way I could push that. There you go. Great. Just going to invite everyone to notice what's going on in your body. Letting yourself settle in. Okay. Let's see what's going on upstairs above everyone's Earth or Sun star. Okay, and this lives around 8 to 12 inches approximately, same kind of distance. And this is the positive flow. So you can imagine that there's a two-way street. There's a flow going up and down inside the central channel. And yeah, so here we go. Okay. All right, this is just the abundance of electromagnetic energy. This shows up frequently, and we all have a real heightened sensitivity, potentially, to the fields of electricity around us, not only coming from other individuals, but the general environment that we're in. And there is a great deal of electromagnetism flying around. And much of it's not real grounded. So anywhere that you're caught up or looped up into a flow or a media stream, anywhere that there's things on your phone or in your awareness or on the TV or even just energy or people you're around, let's see if we can disperse that, because it's best that all get grounded. That can be very disorienting and I want to say disconcerting in the background. It's kind of like that background, that static that's pervasive until we take space to ground that. And if you want to imagine that you're breathing through the top of your head, I'm going to take a 144 and an 89 hertz that are weighted, and I'm going to use these as if we're on either side of your ears, gathering up all that static. And now we're going to move them out either side to make more space in your head. So you might want to just take a nice big deep breath. We're going to go ahead and swap the forks and get the current going the opposite way. There we go. Sometimes that feels like pulling the cotton out of the ears, or if you're holding space for a lot of people and listening to them a lot, particularly if you're a practitioner or of any sort, you tend to holding space and listening to people a lot. Great job, folks. And in some ways what we're doing is we're clearing out the pathway for you to connect with the information of everything up above, right? So that that flow of up above through your body into the earth is open. And I'm just going to witness for everyone and invite you all to honor and anchor that you're safe in this flow. That you are a conduit of this light, and it's safe for you to engage that flow and participate in it and be the flow. There you are. Great. All right, folks, doing great. Let's we're gonna meet this. The first stop is gonna be on the east side. I don't make any assignments to the information that's there. We're just gonna see what shows up. Okay. Whew. This is rough, right? This is where physical or physiological damage interfaces with emotional damage. To me, this feels like where our hearts have been compromised to the level like open heart surgery. So if any of you have felt like that or had that happen, let's try to make some space for that to be acknowledged. First off, it's sort of like having trauma in an aspect of our life that's just never fully seen or witnessed. And in some way, that capacity to connect on a physical level has been compromised so dramatically. And I think so much of what people are working through these days is finding their path back into their, I don't want to say new normal, but the newness of their experience. Yeah. Okay. What dropped in was this feeling of the heart on its side. Okay. And that's got to be a little tricky. So I'm going to go in here with a 520 or 144 to 89 hertz right on our placeholder. And let's invite our hearts to reorient into their true nature. And if you want to put your hands on your heart, you can do that. That feels right. To invite your conscious awareness into the feedback loop. There you go. There are about 40,000 neurons in our heart. It functions as a little brain. And that part of you exists as a single organ. It doesn't have the duality of your brain. And when our hearts are in alignment and in coherence, the ability to access the wisdom of those neurons is available to us. I'm just going to invite everyone that you're noticing. You're doing great. You are great. So anywhere that surrender has felt like a declaration in the middle of a war, let's unwind that so that surrender is participating in flow. There you go. And just invite everyone to notice their observations of when they see water moving or air moving, or even when fish and birds move together and formed by their morphogenic field, that's a flow. And that your heart participates even in your own body's flow, pumping all of the blood that's so vital for all of the functioning parts of your body. Nice. Folks, you're doing great. This feels really good. We're going to go ahead and drop this into center here. Interesting. So anywhere that your body does not have enough blood flow, maybe that there's any lack of oxygen, let's make space for that blood to move into all of the areas that it needs to. That there's no part of your body that's rejecting that nourishment of oxygen. There you go. Excuse me. Okay, folks, let's make some space, extra space. And again, everyone's heart has a very specific balance. So I'm going to place the 528 right on this stone, the rose quartz here, and anywhere where your own balance needs to be shifted or honored, let's invite that in there, because as I'm dropping this in, there's a little, sometimes physiology or individuals or intentions can resist or have some resistance to coherence, and we want to address that, right? We want to meet everyone and everything where they're at, but always hold that invitation that there's some extra space that maybe you didn't know about. Right? And I'm just hearing in there, there's extra space to give and receive, right? That even your heart is a two-way street. There you go. Let's make some space that we're all living on two-way streets, okay? That everything is an exchange, right? And that those exchanges have a balance and a flow. Because that feeling of being lopsided, right, is it's a rough one. Particularly if it's feeling like a chronic state. Here we go. Nice. All right, let's see what's going on the south side here. All right, this is pretty heavy depression. Heart, I want to say heartlessness, or a response to a perception of heartlessness. a feeling of wanting to connect with the electromagnetism of other individuals or the frequency of their heart and not being able to locate it. Okay. So I'm just going to invite everyone to breathe. Notice what's going on here. Folks, if at any time, really listen to what your body wants to do with this. Sometimes opening the arms up can be really helpful. Okay. Folks, so much of our own process can be an inside job, right? We can't force anything on anyone, right? We're in an environment of consent, okay? And people are sovereign in their own heart space, okay? And sometimes all we can do is be available and be vigilant in our own light. So if you're noticing that hearts are not as open as you would hope, to just know that that might be that individual's journey, okay? So you do you take care of you. You can be vigilant in your desire to connect, but protect how far maybe you let that in, right? Don't internalize someone's path as a failure of yours. Okay? It's kind of what I would put in the category of healthy boundaries, right? Just be like, hey, do your due diligence. I'm here. I'm sending you love. If you ever want to talk or you're available, I'll show up with you or for you. But don't continue to suffer because of someone's path. It may not be yours. Hope that makes sense. And it just reminds me of like a generalized pink light, right? Like it's very gentle, fluffy, almost in some ways that you can connect with the frequency where people exist on a greater or higher level. There you go. So what just dropped in there was, rather than being all bound up and in a bunch around, this person can't receive my love. How about you send all that pink fluff into the general space of unconditional love that's almost a reservoir, and that's available to all of us, right? Like you're contributing to a broader frequency of unconditional love rather than holding on to the attachment of the destination that you perceive as appropriate, right? Because you can try to push love, but I don't think that's going to be very successful for you, okay? Pushy love is not so great, right? I think we've all maybe had that experience. Folks, I can tell some parts of this is not, it's not easy to rewrite or rewind. Okay, so, all right, so anywhere that toxic love is programmed into our patterns, let's make some space for that to clean itself up, because anywhere that we're like, I know you need this, or, anywhere that we're running righteousness around how we express love or the destination of it, that's maybe not so great. Let's see if we can clear that out. Anywhere that you or other people have told you what you need, Open that up. I can kind of hear that in the pattern over here. I know what you need. Okay. Okay. There you go. It's really the space of non-attachment, right? We get bound up in our story or stories that we have with other people. Just can create a lot of tragic stuff there. So this is a 144, an unweighted 144, just so you know. Great. Nice. All right, we're going to drop this in, folks. And as I'm dropping this in, anywhere that you feel like you need to talk it out, okay? Sometimes the individual or dynamic that we're working through isn't available to hear our words or our process, or it's just not appropriate, and that's okay. And I think it's important to make space for that to be expressed. So whether you write that out or tell a trusted friend or tell source or God or however you see that, like, find a home for it. Find a home for how you feel. Okay? Your feelings want a home. Everything wants a home. Everything wants a space to be. Okay? Whew. Great. Nice. Okay, folks, we're going to move on over to the west side. We're just moving through these quadrants. Wow. Okay, this is frozen. Your heart, it does not do well frozen. No one's heart does well frozen. This also shows up as being locked into place in an experience or trauma. So, folks, anywhere that collectively we're locked into a pattern of trauma, and you could interpret that in any number of ways and contexts, to loosen up, okay? Because for your heart to do its job, for our hearts to work collectively, right, in the collective field that they connect it with, it requires some kind of permeability and rhythm and balance, okay? So we want to be able to let in what's supportive and functional, and also protect that space from what's not, okay? So it's a fine balance between letting in and releasing. And I would imagine that anyone who works on a physiological level with the heart knows that it's infinitely strong, sensitive, and also delicate as well. So let's go in here. I'm going to use a 528 in a crystal, and let's unwind anywhere that your heart or our hearts are frozen in trauma. And what also shows up is where our heart has adapted the patterns of its functioning to environments that may no longer be there. So your heart may have adapted to an environment that you're no longer in, or an ancestral memory that you're no longer in. So let's bring everybody's heart into the present moment and make some space for it to do its job in grace and ease and balance. Great job, folks. And as this works itself out over here, I'm also noticing people's relationship with their animals evolving. Almost like your familiars, your loved ones not in human form. They know that signature of your heart, and they can tell when there are shifts that are going on. And anyone who loves their animals in the way that I think many of you do, you all know that. That's not new information. There you go. Nice. Wow, y'all are doing great. Something really shifted there. All right. We're just making quick work of this today, which is fine. It's good. It's all perfect timing, right? Okay, we're gonna drop this in. And I'm just noticing as this drops in that we get quiet and still, that our awareness and sensitivity to information expands. I think that really speaks to those 40,000 neurons in our brain that are aware of things before they even show up. I really strongly feel that that's a hugely important component of our intuitive knowing. Folks, you're doing great. Just going to invite you to notice what's going on in your body. I'm noticing a lot of movement around the crown. Nice. Okay, folks, we're going to move on over to the north side. Alright, so this feels like how we respond to our deeper knowing. The knowing that happens in here. So, folks, anywhere that you are experiencing an awareness of where you're experiencing foreknowledge, where you can feel into something that hasn't arrived yet, and that's causing anxiety. Let's make some space for that to clear out, because what I'm getting here is that, you know, we have this capacity to perceive information outside of time and space, and to invite your awareness to go beyond these pockets of trauma, tragedy, little mini freakouts, right? Because in some ways our heart has the capacity to perceive things beyond the temporal experience, or that's how I perceive it. So let's invite your heart to have that awareness that yes, it's going to be a trippy, bumpy ride, and that roller coaster ride can go on for quite some time. So don't get caught up. Like, know that there's going to be up and downs, but that there will be up and downs, and that this blip on your radar that's popping up right now, that's doing this, to breathe through it, know where your center is, know that it's going to move through, and there'll be more opportunities to come back to center. That you're bigger than your response to what you perceive. Yeah, folks, anywhere that the energy of our emotional expression is being capitalized upon for whatever reason, to really pull that back in and be, I'm gonna focus my attention to something else, because I know that my energy is powerful and has value. And I'm going to be conscious of it. I'm going to bring that back to center and close my eyes and be still. Or meditate, and however you do that, whether that's your dance-a-thon or whatever you do to get you back into your heart. Because that belongs to you. Your heart belongs to you, my friend. Okay? Nobody else. It's yours. You have domain and power and sovereignty in that space. Because that pattern of freak out and stress out is cumulative. And so when we get used to that sort of roller coaster ride or wheel of freak out, we're like, oh, I don't know. I'm so used to freaking out. I don't really trust this pocket of peace. That's a pretty tricky pattern to anchor. And that has an impact on your physiology over time. So pull back, see it from a bigger perspective. There we go. Notice that there are bigger waveforms to connect with as opposed to the real short spiky ones. There you go. Or they say don't stress the small stuff, right? I keep hearing it in the ether. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't worry about it. There you go. Nice. All right, folks, we're going to drop this into center. There you go. Great. Okay, so before we connect all these 4 quadrants together into everything up above to source, we're going to work to get all this integrated, because just like the balance that we were talking about before, your heart has 4 chambers. It has a waveform and a pattern and a flow, right? And we want to get everything feeling into its balance and flow, right? That inside your physiology knows what it needs to keep itself moving and grooving, okay? So from the center here, we're going to go up to the north side, back to center, and down to the south side. Because hopefully we're all living on two-way streets. There's a really nice balance between give and take, up and down, yes and no. Just to invite everyone into this center point, almost like a 0 point, right? That in that space of neutrality, there's a great deal of capacity to connect with everything and everyone. All right, folks, let's go to the east side and the west. East side and the west. Excuse me. East side and the west side. There we go. All right, everything feels like it's noticing the other side of the picture where it's living over here. We're going to open this all up, right? Because we want to connect this to everything up above, to everything that is. Hey there. So I just wanted to come on and record a trailer as the phone shut down at the very end of the tuning because the temperature was so high in the Florida heat. So I want you to know that I did complete connecting our intention to source and brought everybody back in their body. But I just wanted to follow up and record this so that you all could participate and come along in closing up the session. So I'm going to invite everybody to breathe, and what we're going to do is just to connect with our intention of tuning our individual and collective hearts and connect this to the source that everything that is. So here we go. Nice. All right, we're going to strike the fork 3 times. We're going to invite everyone back into their Earth Star so that we're super grounded and supported. And any parts that are connected in the collective for this session are going to become back and individuate into your own body and your own experience. So here we go. Nice. Folks, I want to thank you so much for showing up to listen to this session and participate. I would love your support if you want to subscribe to my channel and like the video and comment as to what your experience was. I'm excited to continue to create content, and I appreciate your support. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Be well.